So today I'm going to analyze Link. I'm going to go over the higher time frame scenarios on Link to see if we can actually see some more price action towards the upside in the future. Or, of course, bearish price action, because that could also be the case. So we want to start by drawing in our market structure on the weekly. And when we take a look at this price action all the way over the left, it's actually pretty pretty scary because what we have done here is we kept on trading down, and this is the weekly time frame, so it's a strong time frame, right? And you even managed to SFP the pullback that brought you all the way up to new highs. But what's so interesting about Link is we didn't just hunt it and got a reaction. No, we actually spent almost 2 years accumulating here at the bottom. You know, when we have a range, we are building liquidity on both sides of the market. And what did we do in June 2023? We took out the range low and we started trading up from there, which is a really strong signal because if you're accumulating for almost 2 years, you're going to expect some follow through, especially accumulating below a lot of structure here. So people got really bearish, selling all of their Link positions. Link was almost at their beginning price again. Oh man, this is actually crazy that we've tested this. With the deviation as well, we had, did we? Yeah, we did. Absolutely amazing. With that deviation, we actually tested our first pullback when Link was listed. Excuse me, my cat, or not my cat, but there's a cat making noise. Just give me a second. Like, it's actually really amazing to see we've tested this pullback. And I mean, I had already pointed this out in the chart. I've put some text onto these lows we've created, and that is because I think we do not have to return towards all of these lows once again. Market maker involvement to push price towards new highs. This was your last pullback before actually breaking out of this range. So, relevant to test back, and I do not think we need to come back here because look at the reaction it gave us. Soon as we tested it, we started blasting towards new highs again. This is what brought you all the way towards new lows. Then we gained it, so our order flow is now, after a higher high, is a higher low for another higher high, which we have done so. And while doing so, we have tested this market maker demand absolutely strong, created new highs from there. Your expected order flow is up, so we're expecting this low to be held and this high to be broken. Then the pullback that brought you internally your trend switch as well, is what we've tested back right now. And what we did in the demand is another market maker accumulation. You know that of range trading, you can see those three tabs down here. That's market makers filling up orders, and you can clearly see the reaction after it as well. After they've filled up their orders, they're starting to push price into profits. Their positions that they've been scaling in here are now in good profits because don't forget, this is literally 100% gain on the people, the money that they've put in here. So that's absolutely crazy, and can't even imagine, of course, the buys that they've taken from there, almost times three. Those are crazy gains, and they don't happen a lot. So how can we start to play on Link? Because it's starting to look like it's actually really bullish. And how can we continue trading this bullish momentum on Link? Because we are just expecting higher. We're just going to start following our order flow, and that is another higher high. Okay, this was our higher low, our higher high. What can we expect? A higher low for new higher highs. It's simple order flow and it's simple market structure. So that's exactly what we are we are going to be looking at. And when we look more locally, this is a higher low, another higher high, a higher low, and a higher high. As I've also drawn in here, if we manage to hold this $15 right here, then there's nothing else we can expect than upside, because it's following our high time frame trend, our high time frame order flow, and it's also following our internal order flow. And of course, at these liquidity points, those are just TP moments. There are places the market is going to correct from it. The goal was to make a new higher high. We've done so. But we have now this whole bit as support. And I have a support and resistance line drawn in here with a line over the $20 mark on Link. And if we zoom a bit out, I think this was really relevant on Link. The $20 level is amazing on Link, and that is because look at all the interaction price has given into it. It held here, broke below, tested it back, went down again, support, broke it, it got resistance here as well, support here, tried to bring you up, failed doing so. Now it was resistance here, and because we have done enough, in my opinion, on the bottom to keep moving up, I do think we will hold this zone in combination with the $20 mark. So all in all, on the higher time frame, this is such a good point of interest to look for longs on Link. Near that $20, near this support, and what would I be waiting for a play? I always draw in these kind of scenarios in my chart. What I want to be seeing is you trending down into your point of interest. I want to see your order flow switch. How can you know when your order flow is switching? When you make a higher high. That means your trend from bearish is now bullish. We've made a higher high and we can now expect a higher low for another higher high. And that's how you can acknowledge these trend switches, because we've done the same thing here. This was our point of interest that brought you all the way up. This was the last pullback that made you new lows. Then we gained that right there, a change of character, a momentum switch. Now there's nothing else we can expect between these points, and that is another higher low for new highs. And we're just going to continue that until the market fails to do so. So if you keep on trending down, even in your point of interest, you're never going to get that reversal. But if you are, then you have yourself a trigger to look towards the upside again. So what would your targets be? I would definitely be targeting the $30 mark, but I do think we can break the $30 mark. $30 mark right here was tested, but we haven't actually tested this supply to the left here, which makes it interesting to come back to as well, especially with the swing high being here. I think we're going to go up and then grab some real resistance here or get a short squeeze. So those are pretty much the opportunities. Let me actually put a little bit of background music as well. There we go. I think it should be fine. And in these kind of videos and in these streams, I sometimes do want to give a little clue about a lot of the things I draw in and why I draw them in. And this is going to be one of them. Because music is a little bit too loud for me. Because why is this such a supply zone for me, and why is this not just tested by this, and why do I clam myself in a situation where I need to acknowledge this supply here just right above your high? Well, how do you draw in this supply? When we go on the daily time frame, I think it is, or else it's lower. Now you can see it on the daily time frame. you can clearly see we had this pullback and this move up, right? So if we are really that bullish and we want to continue moving up, then what would have to happen? We would have to hold this low, and from here we need to continue that higher low for the higher high. If we fail to do so, that means sellers have stepped in here to start pushing price down. Also, the part that wanted to bring us higher, we never tested back as well. We actually front ran it and continued down. So that's more reason for the sellers that have stepped in here, because they have also done a liquidity hunt here, right? What I'm basically trying to figure out here is, if you're drawing a supply, you think there are going to be sellers at that supply zone. And how can you see if there are sellers at that supply zone? If they have previous skilled in here. And if they have done so previous, then we can acknowledge, okay, if price comes back here, the people that have shorted the market here and actually pushed a really big part of the price down, if price comes back there, are they willing to defend their orders that they have shorted here? And that's why we're going to look locally at this zone. Above this high, we are going to expect some resistance and some trouble. If not, we are going to get that squeeze up and a quick move towards all-time high. This is pretty much your last trouble zone. I'm expecting for the rest link to just continue towards the upside. We're going to look for trades on the local confirmation though. But that's a little bit of sauce from Cage. I'm going to go to the 4 hour, look at this local picture, and then it's good for me. Then link is done. So these are not the easiest thing to draw in. When you just have the basic systems in place, like if you watched the basic market structure, supply and demand, the basic range trading, this is gonna become a little bit more hectic, and that is because of this part right here. Because you can say this is each time a new pullback and a push towards new highs, right? Which it is, but this is a range on itself. So for me, this is my pullback that brought you towards new highs, and this is just a consolidation in of itself. This is not a new pullback that brought you to new highs to respect as market structure, because if you did, you've got the break and you can just keep trending downwards. But I do think looking at this local scenario, we could actually see some little bit of upside. Because what have we done? We've tested our extreme demand. This is the part where we first held our low and pushed up towards that massive new high into that consolidation part. We've also never tested it back. So the people that have bought here, when price comes back in here, are they going to defend their orders? Well, the question is obviously yes, because they have already done so. Then we need to follow market structure. I'm going to go on a bit higher time frame. Because take a look at all of these wicks. This looks a bit to me like market maker accumulation. Market makers filling up orders each time we go below a low, to then eventually, until they've filled enough, to start pushing the price up into profits once again, which is just expected order flow as well, right? And also on the daily, this is your structural pullback, and we can clearly see this is not. So on the local time frame, even if we hold this, we can move up. We are bullish until proven otherwise. If we fill this level, then we're definitely going to go into this demand, and then this scenario comes into play, which is my favorite one, around that $20 mark. Great place to look for longs. So on the 12th hour, this was our pullback that we have to break. Why? This brought you to new lows. This is not a great break of structure, but this is the place where sellers push price towards a new low. So we can call this a change of character. This brought you to new lows, lower low, higher high. What can we expect? Higher low for another higher high. 4 hour. This is a zone I have actually given into our Discord, and it got tested perfectly with a really good reaction up as well. That's also because we had liquidity laying here, and we never tested our point of interest back, because what you can see is this moved price up. This is also the part that caused us to break this. Over here, we never got a local confirmation for longs, but you can clearly see a lot of people had tried to push price up from this level right here. But that actually makes it interesting to come back here, test this untested demand, snoop all of this liquidity below the low, and then get your expected move up. We've also broken structure while doing so. So we've made a lower low, now a higher high, and we can expect a higher low for another higher high. But we'll have to see if price holds here locally. So I was actually going to do only the higher time frame, but I'm gonna do the lower time frame for this one as well. The 1 hour, the 30 minutes. See this local part. We actually have a nice 30-minute bearish candle, and we have never tested that back as well. And what can we already see happening in this form of demand? That is that you're building liquidity on the highs. You are going to build liquidity on the highs until you've taken enough from the lows, and then we can rotate towards all of the liquidity that we have just built. So we either build that liquidity ourselves, which we are kind of doing right now. If we take this low out one more time, we could have some opportunities to trade towards the high, or it's actually all the way over here. But I kind of do not want to see price there, because this is the place that hunted all of this, got the massive reaction from. This is your swing move towards the highs, and then the uptrend, you want to hold lows and you want to break highs. So I do not prefer that level. Manipulation here as well, liquidity hunt. Definitely do not want to go below there. And if we are, then price action is going to just form lower. Maybe even going to go towards this part and then try again completely. So locally this still looks up, and I am expecting upside until it's proven otherwise. When we close below here, it's proven otherwise. And then we could test it back and maybe start to sweep this low, or on the higher time frame go towards this part. But Link is still definitely up until proven otherwise. And because we didn't continue our strength from over here, this could actually still be an interesting supply for the market to test back and reject from. So 2 local scenarios, and high time frame I would not be looking for shorts. And why was that again? Because we're in a massive uptrend and we're expecting higher time frame continuation towards the upside as well. So this was Link.